Hello, good afternoon, team. So, welcome to today's webinar. This is Jagannath Patil, working as a RPA lead in Step One Step Ahead. So, today I demonstrate you cross-browser testing and parallel execution in the UiPath. So, today's our agenda is about what is the cross-browser testing and how to do parallel execution in the UiPath. Both the activities we'll see in UiPath how to perform. Then I demonstrate you using two use cases, and if you have any queries or doubts, then I can solve that end of the session. So let's see what is the cross-browser testing. Cross-browser testing is undertaken to ensure the application will work flawlessly across all the different types of browsers. In common language, we can say if we want to test any use case or any process in web automation, so we can check in Chrome browser, we can check in Firefox and Edge browser and others also, Internet Explorer, Safari and all that. So we can build the workflow or process using browser, simple browser, and that process, if we want to cross check with multiple browsers, so that functionality, that feasibility we can do in UiPath. So in detail, whenever we want to test or implement cross browser things, so we need to use two activities: open browser activity or attached browser activity. If we want to visit any URL or we need to execute workflow for web automation, so obviously we will use open browser and attached browser activity. For that, in that open browser activity, that have two properties, major properties: browser type. Using browser type activity, we can change the browser. You can see in the screen, in the UiPath, open browser activity is there. Then in the property, you can see browser type property, and in the drop down, you can see by default IE, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, Edge and custom. So we can change either or Firefox, Chrome or Edge using this browser type activity. Let's move to another point, another property of open browser or attached browser activity. Another property is selector property. Using this, we can change any app parameter to chrome.exe or ms.ajax or Firefox. You can see on the screenshot, there is an attached browser activity. I drag drop over here, and the selector property. You can see in the selector HTML app. App is a parameter. You can set property also. In the property, you can see chrome.exe. So during the runtime, we can change this property for the browser, cross-browser testing. I'm audible to everyone?
Yes, Jagannath.
Yes, thank you. After that, what is why we need parallel execution, and what is the parallel execution? Parallel execution means if we execute or implement web automation through the Chrome browser, and we want to execute same execution or implementation in the Firefox browser or Edge browser parallelly. So we can implement that functionality using parallel execution. So parallel execution is nothing but to run multiple tests with same or different browser at the same time. For this, using this activity, parallel execution, we save lot of times for executions. Then we save infrastructure cost also. In parallel execution, this activity is doing parallelly. If any work, any web navigation has always nowadays are showing pop-ups also, cookies pop-up, then other advertisement pop-ups. So that pop-ups we can implement in the parallel activity. So parallelly, what will click on cookies pop-up and other advertisement pop-up also parallelly. So that save our time. If we sequentially add, for first we add for click for cookies activity, then we add for advertisement pop-up, then that take time. But if we add parallel execution activity, then bot will execute both activities parallelly. So how to use parallel execution or parallel activity in the UiPath? So we need to use parallel activity. So in the screenshot, you can see there is a parallel activity over here, and we can drag drop a workflow also, click activity also. So both the cases for checking the cross browser and parallel execution, we will see using these two use cases how to implement cross browser and parallel execution. So first is use case 1, develop a single dynamic workflow and run on Chrome, Firefox or Edge. And second one is using dynamic workflow, we can run 3 browser parallelly at a time. Yeah. So let's go for virtual demonstration how to implement the cross browser things. So first use case is RPA challenge. This common use case, how if we have data in the Excel, first name, last name, and there are a number of 2-3 records or more than 100 records, and we want to make workflow for this process. So I made already workflow for this web automation. As we know, if we want to visit any URL, if we want to do web automation, so we need to add open browser activity. So I added open browser activity, and in this activity you can see I added Chrome browser. Okay, then after that attach that same browser, and browser type is a Chrome and selector is a Chrome. After that I read the Excel sheet, and this Excel sheet we have, and these are the data, first name, last name, all the stuffs which required for RPA challenge. So this is a for each, and we use anchor tab and then screenshot and then submit button. So this is a normal workflow. So let me execute this workflow. So I am running this workflow in so you can see bot has executed, opened the browser and feed all data one by one. Yeah, that's it. So there are 3 rows. You can see the logs, browser name, open URL, read master data, transaction 1, first name, last name, and this browser execution time is in 19 seconds. So in 19 seconds, we can execute this. If I want to execute this same workflow on the Firefox browser, so I need to change Firefox over here, then change into attached browser also, then again change into app name. So instead of these things, I made another workflow, which is a dynamic workflow. We can say that dynamic workflow. Single browser, I can call single browser workflow. I'm assigning one variable browser name for which browser you want to run this workflow. Okay. And based on that browser name, we can set the properties. Okay. Different browser have different properties. For application name is a different and browser name is a different. Okay. So browser application for Chrome, chrome.exe, browser type, Chrome. If user select Edge browser, then we can set the MSH browser application Edge. So this is a setting. After that, in the open browser, you can see in the browser type property, I have not selected any option. I passed the variable name, browser type, which we declared above. Yeah, this is a browser type variable. After the open browser, attached browser, same thing. Attached browser also, I haven't selected the option. I pass the variable name only because we want dynamic. In the selector also, we are passing the variable name, which application. Okay. Let me close this Chrome. And after that, same thing for read range, then for each for filling the data. In the top corner, I added the input dialog. So whenever this workflow run, ask for which browser you want to execute. Okay. So I'm running. So you can see. So this is earlier we ran that workflow on the Chrome browser. Let run on the Firefox. Okay, this parameter we can input from Excel also from anywhere. So you can see same workflow has running on the Firefox browser. So execution has completed. You can see the 53 seconds has done. If we run it again, if we want to run on Edge browser, let's select Edge browser, then click on. So same workflow, dynamic workflow is running on Edge browser. So whenever we are developing the workflow for web automation, we can take care the browser type and browser application name. Yeah. So that's take 34 seconds. So depend on the browser. Google Chrome take less time than the Edge, and Edge is taking less time than Firefox. So I also added the screenshot. You can see the screenshot for dynamic browser. This is the Edge browser. Then we ran on Firefox also. This is a Firefox. You can see. No. Any doubt? Anyone? Yeah. Let's proceed. Now we will see how to execute parallel execution. If this workflow we want execute parallelly for Firefox, Chrome, and Edge using same workflow. So whenever this workflow runs, ask for browser type. So what we do, we comment out this section. Okay. And I made another workflow which is called multiple browser. In the multiple browser, I drag and drop parallel execution activity. In this parallel execution activity, I invoke same workflow 3 times because I want to run 3 browsers. So in the import arguments, I pass only browser name, Chrome browser, then Firefox, then Edge. You can see. Nothing I did, only use parallel activity and drag the workflow and pass the parameters. Okay, let me save it. Okay, and we will run the multiple browser with parallel execution workflow. So bot started, open first Chrome browser, Firefox also. You can see on taskbar 3 browser has opened, switch to bot has switched to another browser, whatever he can switch it, bot is switching, feeding the data. Means all 3 rows, 3 data is feeding parallelly on the 3 browsers. Yes, that's it. Execution has been completed. You can we can check in the log files how much time take. So it will take 40 seconds. Okay, so we can say normal browser, which is we use for Chrome, that take 22 seconds. Then dynamic browser take 47 seconds. Again, depend on the browser, which browser we are using. And parallel execution. Parallel execution in all browser in 40 seconds. So you can see how much time we save. Now you can see on the log. Let me go to top. So browser name is a Chrome, Firefox, open URL for Edge browser, then attach open URL for Chrome browser, read master file for Edge browser, then transaction start for Edge, read master first name for Edge, attach browser for Chrome. So all logs are for single browser, but that's executing parallelly. So logs also adding parallelly, one by one. So whatever what executing, that logs is generated. Yeah. Transaction start for row number 1 for Chrome, for Edge. This is a as per log. So I added screenshot also, so we can check it out from screenshot as well. Yeah. First transaction Chrome, Edge, Firefox. So what has captured the screenshot as well. You can see this is a Chrome browser. This is a Firefox browser. You can see. I have not closed the browser. We can compare it out from the screenshot. So in this way, we can test our test cases or workflows in cross browser and parallel executions. Yeah. So anyone have doubts or query, you can ask me. Yes, Kirti.
Yeah, so it's not a query. It was a good demo, Jagannath.
Yes, thank
So
you, Kirti.
according to our process, also like we can like create individual folders for each browser, so that
Yes, yes.
we
That
are
also
not.
we can.
We can do it, yeah.
Yes,
And also like in this case, it will not wait for other browsers to complete.
yes, yes.
Like
Not
it
wait
will
for.
automatically run through the next steps.
Yes, yes. So previous browser has completed the submit or attach the not wait. It will not wait. It will go straight forward for next browser
Next.
or next. So that's why I added log also. So using logs and you're using screenshots, we can cross verify the things.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
The major part is like we have to like keep constant selectors for all the
Yes.
three, so that one thing we have to keep in mind.
Yes. Yes. So that's why we created on the top browser name and that parallel in the switch case we can
Pass that.
pass the variables to the browser only.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So no need to write Chrome or all that. We can pass the browser tab directly. If
Yes.
any new browsers come, just we need to add drag drop and one more case for next browser. Let's say we want to implement in the Internet Explorer, then we will add only Internet Explorer setting. That's it. And add one more invoke activity in the parallel. So same use case or same workflow we can execute cross browser dynamically with the parallel execution. So at a time 4 browser, 5 browser we can implement. Any?
And also we can pass that browser object so
Yes,
that
yes,
it remains in the same instance
yes, yes. We can pass the browser object
object
also.
also.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yes, Jagannath. I'm clear about that. Your browser parallel
Okay.
browser execution.
Okay.
But if you don't have a browser, instead of browser, we have to read some Excel file
Okay.
parallelly. I mean to say, if one Excel is there, and this should not be the case. But in case if we get the such kind of scenario, we have to read the same file
Okay.
3 times in the parallel execution.
Okay.
So what can be happen?
So here we are reading same file in this workflow. Na? In the single browser workflow, we are reading file from this workflow only. We are not reading file in the top.
Okay,
So
but
in that case, Pankaj, you have to use Excel application scope instead of workbook, so that it does not give an error that the file is already being used.
Okay. So in that time, if parallel execution in one, if it is already open with Excel application scope, if you in the execution 2, if it is already open, so how it is going to impact it?
It will not impact. That's what I'm telling. If you are using normal read range without Excel application scope, then it will impact.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay then. Thank you.
Yeah. Any others have doubts or queries? Okay. Okay then. Thank you so much, guys, for joining webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Jagannath, for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, team.
Thank you, Jagannath.
Thank you.